So the four things that make an arch: one, it's naturally occurring. Two, it's one contiguous piece of rock. There are no breaks in it. Three, light passes through it. And four, it has to be at least 3 feet wide in one direction. I don't think she's out. She's probably way up in that crack.
Okay.
They're more active at night than during the day.
What's in there?
A black widow.
Oh.
Is the web unique? Is that how you know it's black widow?
The web is pretty unique. It's very messy.
Yeah.
They're pretty disorganized almost. But I have seen her in there before as well.
Okay.
Still an arch back here. Does anybody have any other guesses to venture in where that is? That is called crawl through arch. So I am about to offer you the once in a lifetime opportunity to crawl through arch. I'll be showing you the safest way. You bet.
What's on
You
the
bet.
other side?
What's on the other side? Rocks. Rocks are on the other side. You're gonna want to put one side of your body through the arch before the other side. So I'm gonna put one arm and one leg through before the other arm and the other leg. We don't have a whole lot of water here. We get about 8 inches of precipitation a year, and some of that is snow. So when water is on the landscape, it's really important for organisms to take advantage of it. One way that they can do that is with these guys right here. This is called a pothole. Potholes are those divots in the stone that fill with water when it rains. We talked about how they can sometimes be empty, and we don't want to step in the empty ones that were at the beginning of the tour. These potholes are amazing. They are ephemeral, which means they're temporary. So we passed quite a large one on our way in that I usually stop at, but it's all dry right now. This is the first time I've ever seen it dry. So we're getting pretty late in the summer here and not a whole lot of rain again. So they need to take advantage of that water when they have it. And to do this, organisms have found several ways to take advantage of that very short period of time that water is going to be available. One of my favorite examples of this is the spadefoot toad. The spadefoot toad can go from egg to full adult in 2 weeks. The eggs can hatch in under 24 hours. When you think about an American bullfrog, which we probably have in most of our homes here around the United States, they can stay in the tadpole stage for up to 2 years. So you can see how these organisms have really adapted to that very short window of time. To about this point, so it's being a little bit too steep for me to walk, so I'm going to sit down. I'm going to keep my weaker leg bent up against my rear end, my stronger leg, the one that I'd kick a soccer ball with, out straight. My stronger leg that's out straight is going to hit the rocks at the bottom to stop me. My weaker leg that's bent up against the rock and against my rear end is going to act as my buffer to slow me down as I'm sliding. I'm going to slowly slide down until I hit this rock. Everybody's a different height. Use the variety of knee and footholds over here to make your way to the other side. Okay, we got some cool stuff going on over here in this canyon. And we'll be walking through this canyon so you'll have a better view of it, but we've had a lot of questions about the holes in the rock so far. Those holes are called tafoni. That's a Dene or Navajo word. The kind of more scientific term for them is solution pockets. And they are another weird, funky product of erosion. When the water rains down, some of it doesn't immediately slough off the rock. It kind of filters down through. This rock is porous. It's grains of sand glued together with something called calcium carbonate. So at a certain point, that rock, or the water that's filtering through the rock reaches a weaker point in the rock, and it kind of just pops out the side. Oftentimes we find tafoni right in a line. So that's kind of where the rock becomes denser right below it, and it pops out there in those holes. So once it has an exit point, it can start eroding both from the inside and the outside. One more thing that I wanted to point out is right behind us. This is a pack rat midden. So a pack rat kind of den or nest. These are super interesting because they can be used for hundreds of years straight by generation after generation of pack rats. A really good example of those human impacts that we can have on our landscape is found in these pack rat middens. Scientists have used like carbon dating technology and have found little tiny pieces of like ancient Babylonian pottery in these pack rat middens. But in more recent years, they've also found things like microplastics. So it's a really good way to kind of see how this changing of our landscape is inevitable, and sometimes it's not for the best.
We just squeezed through that crack.
This is a constantly shifting place. Everyone can put out their hands like this for me. We're all standing kind of towards the wall, and you pretend that your left hand here is the beginning of time on Earth, and your right hand here is where we are now. If you were to shave off the white parts of your fingernails, that's all of humanity gone. If you were to bend your first knuckles, that's all of the time that it takes to form the arches gone. So in the grand scheme of things, the fact that we're overlapping with this current landscape here is pretty nuts. That's very cool that we get to be here at the same time as all of these arches. I want to thank y'all for coming on the tour today. It has been an amazing time. Y'all are excellent hikers. I have not had any injuries. Big star.
We're not done.
We are not done, and I do want to give you a heads up. The last like 20 minutes out is in pretty full sun, so if you want to slap on any more sunscreen, now would be the time.
We just came through that crack to the right of the black face. Well, we're near the end of the trail. It's been a fun ranger-led hike. You have to have a permit to do this hike. You can either go solo or with the ranger. So I only had one option if I wanted to do it, and that was ranger led. And it was worth it.